Dear me, relax. Everything will be all right. I know you're under pressure. I know it feels like friends flee the moment they get to know you. You're the best of the best. Don't you dare doubt you. You might not taste their sweet, but that doesn't mean you ain't. What was I gonna write there? Niaje majamaa, jina yangu ni Mungai, and this is another episode of Mungahsodes, and today my companion is gonna be incognito. Yeah, karibuni. So my name is Mungai. If you're probably unless you're a new follower, you already know that I'm a poet. I do spoken word poetry, therapeutic Christian poetry, and I love writing about life. Na the last couple of years, mzito wangu. So I'm going to address the guy behind the camera, and you guys are just gonna be part of our conversation. So the last couple of years, nimekuwa writer. I guess I started writing in 2013. Yeah, that was in Form 3. 10 years! I'm almost entering my 10 years as a writer. Nianza kuandika nikiwa Form 3 2013.
Haujaandika kitabu bado?
Well, sija publish kitabu bado. The publishing is what's not done, but the writings are ready. It's just the money. And I also have, right now I have the mind to publish, and I'm not worried about the things I used to be skeptical about when it came to publishing. Because una grow up, unaambiwa yo, sijui utapublish kitabu, sijui uibiwe. Unakumbuka ile story tulisoma kwa Kitaga? Guys, Kidaga. My pronunciation. Yeah.
The guy mwenye aliandika kitabu, alafu akaenda kupublish ikaambua si poa, alafu ikaepa tu hivyo.
Akarudi nayo. Kumbe ule mwenye alikuwa mpublishie aliiba ule chapa.
Yeah.
Akaenda akatolesha kama story yake. No wonder akiulizwa maswali, yeye haezi tell from a place of feelings what really inspired the book.
Because he did not read the book.
Yeah, because when you're a writer, the feelings ziko ndani yako. Like when I look at my lines, even if I don't remember the most accurate meaning, but I have a clue what influenced me to write that piece. However old it is.
You've got the emotions behind the old story.
It's like writing a diary, but now you're willing to share this diary with the world.
So do you think that's why people are skeptical to share their content?
Well, probably, but I wouldn't know. I mean, I'm not right most of the time. But from a personal angle, that was my story. Like, hizo stories za kuibiwa na kala yangu, and then mse mwingine aende atoleshe. I didn't want to lose my copy of my art. But at the same time, I lost them because I didn't do anything about it. I remember losing them kwa sababu nilikuwa nimeziandika ka notes kwa simu. Remember those notes that come kwa simu?
Yeah, the notepad and
then umeandika and then the phone maybe crashes, and then you have to flash the phone, and then you have to start over again, and then you have nothing.
That's why you should write them on a book.
So, well, right now I wish I had even had my pieces stolen and published. At least I would have a copy of them. Even if the credit would have gone to somebody else, but I would have been able to look at them and be like, ini jasho yangu, and hii ndio nilikuwa napitia this time and how.
So saizi unadu nini about your
right now I have my pieces that I've written since 2019. That's like 4 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's when I started putting my pieces in Google Keep Notes, and now I'm able to access them.
So why are you not currently active?
Currently active as what?
As a poet, because I'm sure some of the audience, your audience are concerned. Like there's time we used to see you on TV stations. You know, you're all over pushing your content. Nowadays we don't see you. Mungai, tell us.
The reason I've not been pushing poetry is because I've been busy doing life. But the poetry that I've not been pushing is the performance poetry. But the poetry that has kept me going and I've kept working on has been page poetry where I'm still writing. I'm just not I'm just not putting my work out there.
Why?
Well, because I wanted to put it out there when I feel like I've packaged it in such a way that it can be sold.
And then a quick question: have you ever encountered critics of your style of delivering your poems?
Yeah, I've encountered a lot of criticism, considering the fact that sometimes I don't care about the rhyme. I'm just writing, and the way I'll perform it, for me, it's gonna flow. But now for them, they are like, haina rhyme. You get?
But it's all about the message.
Yeah, it's about the message for me, but that doesn't sit well with the critics.
What inspires you to package your poetry? You package it because I've heard some people say your packaging is quite deep in that.
Packaging in what manner? The
It
packaging
takes
in the writing.
it takes some time for someone to really understand what you say. You're trying to express. Yeah.
I guess what inspires it is my temperament. Yeah, these last couple of months we've been learning about temperaments per church, and one of my temperaments that is so active in me is the melancholic side. I overanalyze things, and people don't want to think through things. They just want to get it the first time they hear it, and if they don't get it, they walk away. And since as I was saying also, because probably I don't have the rhythm they want to listen to, they end up missing out on what I'm trying to say. But when it finds someone who relates to the content, they're like, now I get it. And sometimes even there are people that don't want to think through, but they like listening to me because if they listen to me enough number of times, they eventually like, oh, good Lord, he mentions that. Yeah. So the packaging that has kept me back from putting it out there is the production side of it. But the writing, I'm still doing it.
Yeah. So
I feel like I'm an even doper poet than I was when I met you.
so when are we expecting a published poet? So
Published.
when are you expecting?
Hopefully before the end of the year, I hope to get published. God willing, before the end of the year. Although right now I focused most of my resources on photography and production because I need the events to keep me going financially.
So when did you venture into photography? Because I know most of the audience know you as a poet.
Or apparently, I always felt like I'm a photographer, but what discouraged me from exploring that side of me was back when I was doing poetry in Meru University, like 2016, 2017 there. I used to take creative photos with my phone, and then I was like, I wish I had a camera so that I could do better documenting of these ideas in my head. And then the photography had popped, but it hadn't like popped the way I would imagine. Like it was there, but it was just waiting for the right moment. It was waiting to be set on flame. So because when I got my camera, it was like petrol met fire, and now
it's burning.
Yeah, it's burning.
It's been fire,
and people appreciate the work, and now maybe they're willing to pay for it. So I put a red card on it, and now it's a part of a major part of my livelihood.
So have you branded yourself as a photographer?
As a photographer, apparently I'm still using my poetry to brand myself because the camera I bought it purposefully to shoot poetry. And then because I had a camera, people are like, see, you take a photo of me, take a photo of me. And then eventually, because they kept liking the photos, I started putting a price on it. The next moment I knew I'm doing this big time. So one thing led to the other. What was the question, pardon? I think I've strayed.
Now we're talking about the branding of
Photography. Yeah, so photography grew, and it grew to a level where now it needed to have a name of its own and a life of its own. So I ended up creating a page on IG inaitwa Munga is Photography at Munga Poet with a H, Munga H Poet. And now the poet side was branded differently on IG as Evangelical Poet. So yeah, and God willing, I'm looking to register Munga is Photography as a company on its own.
So now, I recall some time back, you're doing statistics as a course. And a twist or a turn of events, you're in Kenya Mass. The transition, country, you know?
Oh,
explain kidogo.
So back in 2015 September, I joined Meru University as a student, and I'm doing statistics, and I'm convinced that I'm able to do it because of my performance in mathematics. But as time goes by, it's no longer about the ability to do it. The fire and the passion to do it are dying, and I'm no longer interested in it. And I end up feeling depressed by those classes and feeling like I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And most of the time when I have these conversations about my university with my parents, they wish like I should have spoken about it sooner, that I should have said, I'm not doing something I like and I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. If only I can change. But back then I didn't have the confidence. I was like, let me just do this, finish it. And then hopefully I'm going to do something like journalism, because those are the likes of courses that I've seen people pursue that are practical and that can help me put myself out there as a poet. So I was like, if I'm a poet and I have the publicity, then companies wouldn't have trouble hiring me as their journalist, because I'm already coming with my own audience.
So now we're talking about passion and career.
Yeah.
So how does it, now for people watching out there, so you want to say people should pursue whatever they are passionate about?
Yeah.
Less of the career, you know, the career path of, you know, being a doctor, which sometimes maybe people don't want to do, just that they are pushed by society to do.
One thing I'll tell you for sure is when I got to, I think, when it got to 2017, I was a third year, second year-ish, somewhere there, I realized that this life I'm living, one day I'm not going to have my parents around. And it's going to be me doing a course that I hate with all my heart. And I was like, this is not me. And this is not how I want to live the rest of my life. I realized that my life was no longer about my parents. It was mine. And if it's my life, then I really need to take control over it so that I can go the direction I want to. So that even when they are out of the picture, I'll live the rest of my life doing something that's coming from my heart. Because for me, and like most of this generation may attest, is one thing about us is that we want to do something, not just because we love it, but because we also have a heart for it. We have the stamina to take the cruelty that comes with doing that kind of job, so that regardless of its challenges. Because definitely you've been a photographer and you know the costs that come in as a photographer, the losses that someone can make. Sure. Like the losses I've made in my hard drives. But at the end of the day, it stops being about the magnitude of a loss you can make, and it's more about this is something I'm willing to do and, in quotes, die for.
Something that you're willing to die for, something that you're passionate, you love it. No amount of loss that can derail you from the path.
Yeah, from pursuing it.
So now, let me shift the gears to more of mentorship in what you're doing now. Do you feel like people in the industry have welcomed you or there have been people, you've audited finding mentors in the industry.
Which industry? The
photography industry.
Photography industry.
Yeah, because that's where you're at now.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, it depends, because for people to hire you in this industry, they have to trust your skills. They have to trust that you can deliver. Because I wouldn't want to call over a photographer to come and mess me up, and I have a client whose trust I've already worked so hard to earn. You get?
Yeah.
People want to maintain people want to maintain value and their value to their clients. And if you're going to take away that value, then you're going to be an obstacle. Then nobody's gonna really welcome you. But I really appreciate that I had somebody like Mini Sparks. I used to be at Mavuno when I was growing as a photographer. So most of it was self-taught back in school after I bought my camera. And then after I joined Mavuno Church, Upper South Sea, I met this guy and it was Sparks. And he now coached me on the rest of photography from there henceforth. I nile yenyewe, you think you know, and then you learn that you don't know. And the good thing is I took him seriously and I appreciated the criticism. And it has really made me grow as a photographer. And most of the time when I'm looking at my work quality, I'm looking at it through how would Sparks have seen it. Yeah. So I feel I was welcomed by such people because they were willing to risk it with me and they believed in my skills even when I still had a lot of room for improvement.
So what's the final word for photographers, maybe upcoming photographers, poets, people not only in photography and poetry, but other
Passionate
fields.
people.
Yeah. So what do you have for them? Those people are starting up and maybe they have the fear of, walking out there and, trying.
One thing I'll say for sure is there's always that fear that things might not work out. I'm not rich enough to do this particular thing. And then when you get the things you thought were keeping you back, you realize it's not that thing that makes you do the thing you wanted to do. It's what's within. Like in 2020, I would have excused myself and be like, me, if I just get a camera, YouTube will know me. And then in 2021, September, I get a camera and YouTube still doesn't know me. Why? Because it was not the camera that makes me the poet. I'm a poet with or without the resources. And you are whatever you are with or without the resources you think you need to do that thing that you've never done before. To do that thing that's buried in your mind that you tell yourself one day you're gonna do it. You are the only obstacle between you and it. And I'll tell you for sure, acquiring the resources is just not it. It's 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 like saying like you get married. Getting married is not the big deal. The big deal is working it out with the person that you have settled with. Having to live with their flaws and their strengths for the rest of your life, and them having to accept to live with their strengths and their flaws for the rest of their lives. And yeah, so manze, don't give up. If it is in you, do it. If it is in you, do it. And yeah, for an inspirational song that you can listen to, enda sikiliza, I think this lady anaitwa Kat Burns. She's done a song inaitwa If There's Something You Wanna Do, Just Do It. So go do it. Peace.